Kevin, there's a guy that goes to has a kid in the same class as Freddie, so preschool, who's bald, no beard though, but probably like 10 pounds skinnier than you. And I feel like I've never seen the look. I feel like he pulls it off. It's a good look.
My problem is I don't have, like, when I shave my beard, it's almost like my beard emphasizes my jawline, where some people just have like a really good,
Yeah, maybe it's a jawline.
it's like they have like a really sharp face, where my beard emphasizes it, but some people, like, they don't need that. Like,
Yeah.
they can just, and I just look like a baby when I shave my face.
I just think if you have no beard, you have to be like fit and bald.
Yeah, and just be like genetically gifted.
Yeah.
I've been trying to fish you guys to ask me what my drink is.
What's your drink, Kevy?
I just mixed vodka and whatever this shit was in my fridge.
Some Drano.
That's good. It cleans out the pipes.
Baby, don't understand why we can't just hold on to each other's hands.
How long have you had this empty can of Drano?
It's full. I bought it at the store and it's been sitting on my counter, and I was mixing a drink. I'm like, oh, I want to make this joke. It's like, that's what I used as my mixer.
Better question: how long have your pipes been clogged?
I feel like I live in a world where my bathtub is constantly overflowing.
Do you shave in it?
No, I don't even have hair. Like,
yeah, that's true.
I did use bar soap for a while, and I have realized that since I've stopped using bar soap and used body wash, my bathtub is a lot cleaner.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe there's none of that residue.
Yes, that like soapy residue like really backs up. All right,
Yeah.
we really need to get into the pod.
I like that.
No, we have a tight agenda today. I'm fucking ready to go. I prepared. We're going to do this. Welcome. I'm hearing feedback of my own voice. Where am I hearing that?
Is it me?
I don't hear
probably
any.
me.
Dennis, do you hear any feedback?
No.
All right.
It was Dennis earlier when
Let me
I was
turn down
dealing
my
with him.
headphones a little bit.
Hello. No, I'm good now.
Yeah, you're really quiet now, though. Or, Owen, are you quiet? Talk.
Hi. We don't have time for jokes like that.
But that was a good one.
Those are
Hello?
the kind of jokes that get me in trouble.
Oh, do you get in trouble for going too late?
I get in trouble from you guys for letting it go too long.
So is Megan mad when it's like...
No, she doesn't give a shit. She's already been in bed for like an hour. So she
then
doesn't
who
care.
gets in trouble? Who's getting you in trouble?
You guys.
I get sleepy in the morning
like-
if I don't get enough
we
sleep.
get mad that it's 8
Yeah.
o'clock and it's
You're like,
okay.
why haven't we talked about the show yet?
Well, Kevin, you're always like, we'll get to that later.
Okay.
It's like,
Yeah. Push it off.
Well, let's
Yeah.
get to something now. Welcome to the first... Dennis, am I still quiet to you?
just keep going. I'll fix it.
Okay. Welcome to the first ever Pick Freaks Stakeholder Meeting. Oh my God, I hear myself still. Nope, it's good now. Are you guys excited for the first ever Pick Freaks Stakeholder Meeting?
Can't wait to see what my investment has turned into.
We sold all of our
$30 a
investments.
month Riverside
Oh, yeah.
investment. What has this turned into?
I'm paying $25 a month for analytics and hosting.
I'm paying only $12 for the captions.
You pay for that?
Yeah, that's why I'm like, send them to me. I'll get you the captions. I can
$12
do
a
whatever.
month?
Yeah, man, it's good
Are you
captions.
fucking kidding
I'm sorry,
me?
I did not realize
You guys
that.
would probably be way better with this app than I am, but it could do a shit ton.
Oh, we
I
can
just
get
use
it
it very
in like different languages or something?
yeah, you could do. It does it all. It's crazy.
All right, well, this is the kind of stuff we're going to get into.
We got to get our expenses down. We didn't even know we were spending our money.
We're sort of like that meme. I always laugh at that meme where it's like on Twitter, it'll be like, here's my budget, $12 for food, $9 for electric, $1,500 for Nike Air Jordans. Like, tell me where my budget is wrong. All right, so we have been doing this podcast for over a year now, not even counting our other venture, Peak Freaks, which we're not going to get into. But we thought it would be a great time to take a good deep look at the business. And that means it's funny to think of it as a business.
I know.
That means we got to look at 3 key things today. We're going to look at the numbers. We're going to listen to some feedback from the pickheads. Shout out to Moneymaker for coining that term. Hasn't really caught on quite yet, but I have a good feeling it will. And brainstorming plus implementing strategies for growth. Now, are you guys excited?
I was going to boo for a second. But you asked if I was excited. So yeah, I'm pumped.
Yeah, I want to retire next year. So
Yes,
this is the plan.
That's the end game. But before we get into the brass tacks, I just got to ask you guys after a year, what are some of your highlights, or what is your highlight from over a year of podcasting? Dennis, go.
This is me after coming off a week break of a mental health week of the burnout of the podcast. I couldn't imagine being a listener. I look back and I think some of the peak moments for me, Barbenheimer, that was fun to do that.
Just fun to go see it and experience it where you normally wouldn't have,
and talk about it. I think Owen's Hate for Hamilton, that was a good podcast. I like the Friday night ones that a little too much drinking. I think the marathon playlist one, that was one of my favorite episodes for you, Kevin.
That's
where we
funny.
made the playlist.
I think I have that one slated to be mentioned later, but in a non-favorable way.
I always think about the holding my breath one. I don't know why.
Oh, that was a really fun one.
Because it came out of nowhere, like that sort of. Those are the types I like, where it's
those
like
organic moments of.
Yeah, or we watch something like, I think of the infinity pool, and then I think of the breath one, or another round, like where we watch something where
we're really the whale, where you're actually living it while doing it almost, or like.
Well, I was gonna say more like it's a pleasant surprise for all of us, and none of us knew how it was gonna be going in, and we all liked the movie or whatever.
I agree with that too, Dennis, but I do also like, and I don't think we could do this every week, but like where it's like you watch something, not only watch it, you like engulf yourself in it. Like, I'm watching The Whale this week, I'm going to eat as much food as I can. And for me, it was like 2 buckets of popcorn. But what were your highlights from a year of podcasting?
This is going to sound very lame, but I just enjoy, I don't have a lot of friends out here, so it's nice to look forward to talk to you guys and laugh and get along.
So dumb.
I really mean it, though. That's the thing.
Mute 'em.
That's true. Just being able to cut the shit with the boys, especially as I've learned from being in a relationship, when you are just like, women and men, I'm going to say it, hot take, they're different.
What? That actually is a hot take, I think, nowadays. I don't think you can say that.
True, no. If I had to picture like a perfect metaphor, this is just off the cusp. I'd say like men are from Saturn and women Pluto.
Nissan.
Just that's like my first gut reaction on where men are from and women are from. But that makes
so
sense.
Original,
yeah. Outside of that, I mean, I'm with Dennis on the ones that we like, ones that we're not expecting to like the movie. We watch it, and then we all come in with different opinions, and then we're like, man, I actually really enjoyed that. That's the best. When we don't really like what we watched, it's low energy. We talked about it, and it can be boring.
There's so many times where we all watch something with differing opinions, and then we come away from it like appreciating it. I heard that.
It's a LaCroix, though. Not cool.
There's so many times where that happened, where you're like, oh, like I didn't really get that part of the movie, or I didn't really get that part of the song. Like it does, just like getting together as a group and kind of talking it out makes you appreciate the thing as a whole.
Yeah. I was just, before we came on, I was listening to Frankly Mr. Shankly.
Wow.
And I remember not liking that song. And just this podcast made me, it's kind of just slowing down and just actually analyzing something.
And getting multiple perspectives on these parts.
And not just reading some article or some Twitter thread about it, you know.
Some fucking Reddit nerd who just like comes off with the hardest take, and then you get stuck with that as the only take. Like, it's nice to have an optimistic viewpoint on everything.
Yeah, I do agree with Owen. It does fulfill my friendship bucket, and in such an easy way where I can just like go to bed after an hour and a half compared to, you know,
Yeah, you don't need to kick us out of your house like you did back in the day. So
hanging
abruptly.
out and then figuring out like, how the fuck do I leave this bar without anyone knowing?
Yeah.
All right. Well, my favorite part, and this is probably a more recent thing, but I like recording the podcast can be a grind sometimes. Watching the content can be a grind sometimes. But after you get the
Sell it,
finished
Kev.
after you get the finished product, and we're like trying to come up with clips from it, is so much fun to me. Just like to like reflect on the moments that were funny. It's like being a friend, like just like, holy shit, that was so funny. And then to have like visual proof of that funny moment, and then to be able to splice it together perfectly and try to like encapsulate that moment is really fun for me.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, that is awesome to like edit the video clips together. It's like the most fun, I feel like.
Damn. So fun that you don't do it anymore, Dennis.
Well, Dennis puts a lot of heart into it, which I understand like can be a lot of work.
I get that. That's how much one clip, how long does it typically take you? Say you have the whole outline, you know what you're doing, you don't need to search for anything.
It depends on like how wacky I get.
That's
You
what
know,
Dennis
so-
puts the wackiness into it. I don't mess with the wackiness. I just want to get the raw stuff. But Dennis will add like these little flares that are really fun.
I would say like an hour
Okay.
for a clip.
It
On
gets
average.
like 200 views. It's great.
There was one clip that took me like like 2 hours. I think it was the True Detective one. One of them where I had someone licking something.
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah,
Oh, that was a good one though.
not many.
All right,
It was
well,
too much.
Speaking of licking something, I just want a quick low light from you guys. Give me one low light of podcasting. Owen, start with you. Low light being like an anti-highlight.
I get.
Okay.
I got that. I wasn't contemplating what that word
How
meant.
low is this light? Is it on the floor?
Example being like, or
I got it. It's gonna take me a second though. Scheduling is really a pain in the ass, but that's not. I don't feel like that's good for like actually saying what I like and dislike about the podcast.
no, I think there's a lot of people who like think they can do a podcast and don't realize how much effort just goes into getting 3 people together. It's really hard.
Yeah,
Especially Owen, different time zone.
Oh yeah,
I
totally.
think that's the biggest issue.
yeah. But I'm shocked how late you guys are up. By the time you guys start this podcast, when it hits 9:30 here, I'm already in bed.
Dude,
So
I'm in
there's-
bed at 9:30 every. That's why it's sometimes so hard for me to get on this podcast because I'm
Oh
usually in bed by now.
man, dedication.
I know.
I'd say that's the hardest part is making it sometimes a priority. Like there's 2 other things that I was potentially going to do today. I was like, I need to go on the podcast today. I'll do those things later. So,
What were you gonna do?
real estate meetup.
Oh,
No, that would be a nice way to make some
probably
friends.
better for your
I mean,
future.
I'm there. I know. I've gone to a lot of them, so it's not like
Have you made any friends?
I mean, I'm not really looking for friends there. I'm looking for opportunities. But I mean, I know a handful of people that I talk to every time, but I'm not going to catch
Sometimes
up with them.
people can see like friendship and opportunity as the same thing. Like, hey, that friend can also bring me joy and business. Dennis, what about you? Any low lights?
You're talking about mixing business and pleasure, Kevin.
It
It's
happens.
dangerous.
It happens.
I feel like it's very hard for me to listen to the podcast. I probably only listen to like 1 in 5 of them. For some reason I can't. It's like I've experienced it and I can't listen to it.
Is
sort of
it
thing.
you that you can't listen to and you don't like to hear the way that you sound?
No, I always sound better than I thought I would sound.
Yeah.
I feel like during the podcast I feel like I ramble a lot, but then I don't know if it's Kevin's editing or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like sometimes it feels exhausting to do it, but I like doing it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It does. It does. It's rewarding, but anything rewarding is going to be a little bit of work.
Yeah. Like I think it's just so hard because I have to put my kids to bed, lay in their room for 45 minutes, basically fall asleep and then come down here and do a podcast. But that's why I get my drink and I'm good. So
That's where
that's
Don
why I have
Draper
to
gets
drink.
to.
Like if I wasn't drinking, I'd be
It has to
fucking
be like a
boring.
nightcap. It has to be like
Yeah.
celebratory. I get
And
that.
Dennis, I am with you when you can't listen to it. I enjoy listening to it and I laugh like the whole
Yeah.
way through because I forget about things. But I hate when I'm trying to explain something and I'm like, oh my God, you fucking idiot. Like, get it out. That is so bad. So those parts hurt where I feel
Yeah.
and sometimes it interrupts my mood.
I also just
I get
imagine
that.
Kevin must like end up hating us just because
Yeah,
the
I
way
know.
he knows how we talk now, same sort of shit we say,
No,
rambling.
really.
No,
I think you guys are interesting, and I honestly I feel more connected to you. Like I can take what you bullshit you're trying to say and then turn it into what you are saying. If that makes sense. Like you can be like ooh, and I can get rid of those and just like get to the core of what you're trying to say. And
Oh damn! So it's edited. Those parts are edited. How bad are we?
Yeah,
I'll
Kevin,
have-
I have a question. What is the most annoying thing that each of us do? And include yourself.
my laughing is terrible. I have
Oh,
to
I
figure
like
out.
it.
I have to find, but I think it's so cringy to me that like I have to.
Move past it, Kevin.
Yeah. Okay.
It's good.
You guys don't have any words that you say. I don't know. I don't have an answer to this one off the top of my head. There's nothing that bad.
I'm
There
with
really
you
isn't.
on the laughing though, Kevin, because I hate my I can't do
Yeah,
that.
I
So
think
you
anybody's
guys
gonna hate.
laugh really hard, and I'm
Yeah.
not it takes me a lot to laugh really hard, even though I think things are really funny.
Yeah, and I would say like if I'm laughing on pod, it is a very genuine laugh. Like
Yeah.
so, it's rewarding in that sense. But like I sometimes like from an audio level, it's obnoxious. I don't know. You guys both ramble a ton, and I definitely have cut out like you. If you're talking for a minute, I will take probably 30 seconds out of that and turn it into like I will turn a minute of your guys' thought into 30 seconds of
That's
thought.
really good because when I'm listening, I don't notice that.
Because it's probably how you were thinking, but you just weren't like getting it out right. Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to think of things and get
There
it
wa-
out.
There was one time I was editing a clip for the Oscars, and Owen was basically trying to say that he watched the best picture. He watched all the best picture films, and it was like a minute and a half. He's like, I watched all the films that were number one, and they were like the best ones, and I had to like condense that down to like, I watched the best picture films.
That reminds me of something else that happens a lot. Is like I'll hear you guys use a turn of phrase that's so wrong. Like,
Yeah.
be like someone will be like, there's plenty of sea in the fish. Sometimes I'll try to fix it, and sometimes I can't. It's just like,
Yeah.
you just fucked it up.
I feel like that's me a lot because I'm trying to figure out, I'm like, what the fuck is that saying? And I just throw in a different word. And when I'm listening to the podcast on the drive, I know that fucking word immediately. I was like, how did I not know that?
That's why it's good to be a little buzzed.
Yeah.
You don't
I'm
overthink
better
it.
at talking without being buzzed. I know that.
All right. Well, my low light personally, outside of just like trying to market this shit and edit this shit and like get it uploaded in time, is just sometimes watching the content and having to take notes. Like a show like True Detective, like sometimes I miss just like watching it and just not having to like process everything in real time, like actually having to like try to understand every little nuance, try to capture every thought I have. That can be pretty frustrating. But it's also, I'm glad I do it. It makes me enjoy stuff more.
God, that show sucked. What a bummer of a show.
I thought you liked it.
No, the ending was terrible.
Ending ruined it.
It was
fucked it up
good
yeah.
up
so
until like
much.
the last 2 episodes. And then you're like, what? How did they screw
You know what's
this
funny?
up?
Lisa loved it.
It was
And
like a
then-
feminine. It was like a female empowerment show at the end. Like it was.
Yeah, I actually fell
Because
asleep the last 30 minutes.
Sarah hated it.
It came
because
down-
it's a female empowerment.
At
show.
the end, and they really like forced it in there. But that reminds me, we have our next topic of conversation here, and this is really, really important. Dennis recently peeked into the books of our downloads recently, and he was awakened to a world of pure torture.
Pump up those numbers though.
How about this? For
And-
every number I say, should I like times it by 15 just for
Just
exaggeration
add
purposes?
zeros. Add 2 zeros.
Yeah,
2 zeros.
Because we're a transparent podcast.
Here's
and-
yes, but here, Kevin, you're gonna have, because if people start hearing that we have like 100 listeners, and that gets out, and people will be like, "Why the fuck are they still doing this?" We need to have people be like, "Oh shit, they're actually listening to some, so I could recommend this to my friend because I know it's not just me that likes the show. There's a couple other 1,000 other people that do like it." So we need
Everyone
we need a
I
lie.
tell that how many listeners we have, they're always a little impressed. So I don't know
yeah,
if
I
that's
think so. It's not bad.
You've been giving out the real numbers.
to Lisa and my brother-in-law.
It's always surprising to
That's
me.
fine. Those people are fine because I told Sarah, and Sarah's
Alright.
like, "That's pretty good too." So
Here's what I'm gonna do. For every number I say, I'm gonna add a $50 to it. So like if I say like
$50.
not dollars.
You're mixing like
Yeah, currency.
different types of numbers
Numerical
here.
values.
I'm gonna add a square to it.
people like money, so that sounds better.
We're up to 60 listeners and $50.
Yeah, how many gecs we got here?
All right, so yeah, how about this? So like if I say 50 or 1,500, no, this isn't gonna work. How about we just
I think
give
we
the
just
real
gotta
numbers?
be honest.
All right,
Fuck
but
No,
this
Owens?
first
You
no,
pussies.
Add another zero to it at
Add a
least.
zero.
okay, all right. That let's add one more zero to everything we do. I
All right,
like
is
that.
this staying in the pod when we mention this part? But okay.
No, but like we're looking at the numbers. First section of this pod is we're looking at the numbers. Our total downloads for Pick Freaks so far is the most disappointing number of all time. It is 22,600. Think about like a normal YouTube video, and that's
22,600.
All right, we had to use the real numbers here.
Yeah,
That's actually not
too
bad.
high.
That's too unrealistic.
This
Use
is
the
like
real
when you
number.
steal and you're like, "Shit, we did too much. We did too much," and there's no going back. That's just.
And you preface it with like how disappointed. If you actually said that, I'd be like, "Holy fucking shit!"
well. Here's how I think about it. Okay, so it's 2,266 downloads for all of our episodes, which doesn't sound like a lot when you think of like a YouTube video. But this is people downloading and listening to an episode for probably more than 10 to 15, 20 minutes. Like, I guess that's kind of a lot.
That's great. Think are really great numbers.
I think
These are
so.
people
in
that
my
downloaded
opinion.
it. Okay.
I can
I don't
account
know, it
for
just seems so low.
for like 3 people that I know that listen. So that's where
And then another 3 are
that's going to
you, 'cause
reflect
you
on
listen
my
to it.
yeah, that's going to reflect on my feedback because I didn't get a ton, but I got some. Well, I listened to it once. I don't listen to it twice. So it's
Sometimes
just a
I'll
one
have to
time.
check. Like,
Who's listening to this twice?
Well, Kevin was trying to say, and then you listened to it, and it
Like,
made it sound
I
like I was
sometimes
going to.
listen to it on Spotify for like 10 minutes to make sure it worked, and then listen to it on Apple Podcast for 10 minutes to see if
That's-
it worked.
Yeah, that's the only thing I don't like about the It seems how long do you have to listen to before it?
I don't
Captures
feel like
it.
anybody knows, or I just haven't spent the time researching
It's a
it
full episode for sure, all the way through.
3 times. All right. Well, here is the more positive number. Like, I think these are way more promising. Our average episode downloads right now are 57. So that means every episode
570.
570.
That's too
I don't-
low.
Every episode we've had has had at least 57 downloads, which I think is really good.
I think that's good.
For 57 people to actively download this,
I'm taking notes like this matters on my bracket.
it's literally his March Madness.
Yeah. And I just put down 57 downloads. I have there's nothing after that.
That's a typical meeting for any of us. Just, I heard
That's
a
what
number.
that's what I felt like I was in. That's why I started taking notes.
This might come back if somebody questions me with a number. Oh, and how many downloads did we have?
57. 570 actually.
Yeah. And our average weekly downloads is lower, which I don't know what that means. We have 42 average weekly downloads.
Nah.
Wait, what's the
That
first
doesn't
one?
make any sense then. If
So
it's
our
50,
average episode downloads is 57. Our average weekly downloads is 42.
is it because
Okay.
we haven't uploaded every single week?
It totally could be, yes. And
How long
also
we've been
like
on there?
just it's more just like if somebody because people are catching up on this podcast.
There's probably certain episodes that have more downloads
Yeah,
that
there
are bringing
totally
up
is.
the average download.
I
Weekly
was gonna
download
get
is
into that
like
next.
yeah. Okay.
And also sometimes like we'll release an episode and like 10 people will listen to completely different episodes in a given week. Like they're just like picking and choosing or catching up but I think this is by far the most interesting number. These are just the top 5 most popular episodes so
Okay.
far. Number
Can-
5.
Sticking
can we
with the
get- can we-
notes. I'm
can we
still
guess?
writing down, but I actually enjoy doing this. So
Can we guess one of them?
Yeah. Guess it. Just try to pick one that was in the top 5.
Squid
That
Games.
wasn't
I'm gonna-
Squid
I'm
Game.
gonna
It wasn't
pick
number
Squid
one.
Game.
Dennis, you saw the stats. You dug into the stats. What
I-
do you mean that you get a
I
guess? You
forgot.
just fucking know all of them.
This is a guess.
He doesn't remember these.
Right.
I do know Squid Games is number 1.
Yes, by far. Like by
We need to get
Yeah.
your dad back on the game show and then
That's
back
the
on
key.
the pod.
that's the key. We'll get
Every
into
week we
growth
need him on
later.
a game show. Chasing Mr. Stew.
We
that's
just
our
gotta
podcast.
fucking lie, dude. We just gotta lie. These big game shows, you didn't even see your dad
Yeah.
on there.
That's true. That's so
Okay.
true.
Write this down. Strategy number 1: lie.
All right.
Add a
time.
0 and lie.
We don't have time to guess. Number
Yes, we-
5.
NCAA.
Okay, let's just go through it.
Okay.
True Detective Night Country,
Mm.
number 5 most
Really?
downloaded. I don't know how that happened.
It was
That one doesn't
relevant,
make
I
any
guess.
sense to me. Maybe it was relevant. Number 4, college football. That one makes total sense to me. Something everybody loves that we didn't quite understand, just kind of happened to coincide. 1989 Taylor's version was number 3. Something everybody loves. Actually, there's that new Taylor Swift album coming out tomorrow, by the way.
Shit.
Oh
Okay.
God.
Well, we can't do 2, but that'll get views.
We
We'll
could
talk
do
about
it.
this later. We'll talk about it later.
Okay, I have a flaw in my system because I just realized I'm listing 6, not 5. So number 3 was Wolf of Wall Street, which I would just argue was a great podcast.
Damn, that one was a ton of fun.
That one was good. We covered some movie.
George was on that
but
one, right?
George
Yeah.
is clearly the X Factor. Number 2, by far the most surprising, was our Christmas playlist.
I'm
That
so
must
shocked
have
by
just been
that.
timing. That must have just been like people are bored during Christmas time. We had something semi-interesting to talk about that kind of people care about.
I think a lot of people just had time to kill too. Everyone has off. And if you're off for 5 days and you're at home, you're like, what the fuck do I do? Nothing's open, or things are open, but they're packed. So I think people just had downtime.
And then number 1, The Deepest Breath, a documentary that Dennis chose.
No way.
No, he's lying, you idiot. It's Squid Games.
Squid Game the Challenge by like 150 downloads.
I
That
didn't
was
choose
most-
Deepest Breath. Owen did.
Oh, did you really? Okay.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
one,
I did.
that one was huge just because my dad posted it in his WhatsApp with all the contestants, and then
Yeah.
I posted it on the Reddit. So we'll talk more about that when we get into the growth section. Man, we're running low on time already. Okay, least popular episodes.
30
You guys
minutes
mi-
in.
You guys mind if I run through
We're
these?
starting to get mad at Kevin already.
Yeah.
Hurry up, Kevin, go.
All right. I can't remember if I ordered this from lowest to highest, but here's our bottom 6. The Smiths 2024 Oscars special, which is so upsetting
What?
considering how much work we put into it.
It was like one of the most worked ones.
And by far the most interesting.
I
Like,
watched all the top first best movies. That was a deep cut right there.
but seriously though, like that's a great pod, and
Yeah,
if-
fuck
I would
off,
never
listeners.
not want to
Yeah.
do that one.
That, we have shitty pickheads.
Here's 2 shitty ones from us: Citizen Kane and Sunderland Till I Die.
Yeah,
Who are those for?
those are bad picks.
Dude, Citizen Kane, I'm so happy we watched that
It changed my
I
life.
agree.
Yeah.
It changed my life, and then I liked Sunderland Till I Die. And like, I don't regret.
I wrote a
doing
fucking
those.
song for that. put my heart and soul into that.
I got another one that's gonna upset you. Another one in the bottom. Top 15 favorite movies / letterbox playlist. We
That one
poured
was a
our
little out there.
yeah, that one was a little chaotic in terms of.
Oh man.
And the last one on my list of bottom 6 was 2024 goals and Rocky.
2024 goals is low too?
Yeah,
Oh,
people don't
man.
give a shit about our aspirations.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at these. I did write them all down. It was very helpful because I'm
That's
looking at them
great.
and you could kind of write a story as why this worked, why that one did it.
Yeah, so what's the story of which ones work, other than the Squid Games one? Because that one was kind of
Um,
an outlier.
far-reaching. So college football and Taylor Swift.
Yeah,
Those are huge
totally.
reaches.
True Detective.
Christmas playlist
Everybody
as
watched
well.
that.
Yeah, Wolf of Wall Street. Everyone has also watched all of those. So, on top of Christmas being a holiday podcast, like I said, there's just so much downtime during the holidays. I think whatever you put out then,
And I would say,
Be
like,
hit.
this might be a stretch, but 65% of people have heard Christmas music before, at least, right?
yeah,
Yes.
it's a confirmed stat. Actually,
I don't think it's
I would maybe a little higher.
64.
Maybe.
not higher. If not higher, 65% of people have heard a Christmas song before. So take what you want with that stat.
I do agree where I think, even though it's more interesting to talk about like new stuff, it might be too new, like what we're talking about.
Agreed. You kind of have to find somewhere between evergreen and new.
But you also got to find something we have to be like, this is going to be a hit. People are going to watch it. So we need to get on top of it to get the listens.
I think Dennis is on the money with it. Like, True Detective was obviously a new show, but like, we didn't talk about True Detective. True Detective Night Country most of the time. We talked about True Detective, like in a very evergreen show. We talked about college football, a very evergreen thing. Like,
Where did Ghostbusters and Forrest Gump fall?
somewhere right in that meaty part of the middle.
That's
And
what I'm like. That can't be it.
I did not account for recent stuff because they were like still in like the to be
Beta.
determined phase. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it will be interesting to see where those ones go. But I do think Dennis is right. Like, I think we have to find that like sweet spot of like what's evergreen and relevant at the same time.
What does
Yeah.
evergreen mean? I've never heard
Evergreen just means like it's something people are always kind of talking about or kind of like always
okay.
relevant.
But I do think for growth wise, it's easier probably to get more listens on new stuff if we post in the right spot.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
If you can tailor it to the right audience.
But if we're just throwing it out
yeah.
there, then it's like, okay, do stuff people know. So I guess it's the strategy we have to figure out.
All right. Well, I think that's a really good segue to our next section of the pod, which is listener feedback. I gathered up from a bunch of text messages a list of some feedback. I don't know if you guys want me to start with mine or start with yours.
I think you probably have the best. I probably have the worst amount of feedback.
Yeah. What did Lisa say?
I have Lisa on my list.
Lisa's not a listener. She basically, the only time we ever talk about it, she's like, "You got your podcast tonight?" And I said, "Yes." So no real feedback on that. My kids think that this is my job, and they know your names. Lisa's dad is a fan of the clips. He mentions them, and he was in my basement. He said, "Oh, this is where you pod," and I felt kind of embarrassed about it. But
Oh, that's
Be
kind of cool.
proud.
I'm glad that he likes it. I'm proud when like a family member like likes us being funny.
yeah, and then my family, no one listens to it. I know my sister and her husband listened to it one time, and they said they were cracking up, but they said it felt like they were in my basement with my friends, and it was just too much, too many jokes.
Yeah. Well,
And in my mind, I'm like, too many jokes. That
And you're
doesn't make
cracking
any
up. What's wrong with that? I don't get it. Like bad intel.
no, let's just
so-
summarize that as I was having too much fun.
Yeah.
That's why I hate Cedar Point. That's why I hate.
I think they were afraid they were going to crash the car because they were laughing so hard.
Oh.
So
Or
that's a
they were
direct
just
quote.
like they were just jealous, maybe that they aren't as.
Maybe I don't know. Gift the gab. whatever that means. But other feedback I got was from
No,
Drew.
this is all anonymous.
Oh, from a guy that loves Chinese food.
That's not your friend.
Where's this at?
It's on the Instagram.
It sounds like he doesn't like the album ones. This guy.
Not
But-
a music guy on the record.
Who is?
Yeah, he's not. He's
Okay.
not. But he's probably our biggest fan. So I'm gonna take what he says and really listen to it.
Okay. Tell me who it is. Okay.
So
Cut
yeah. Not a fan of the album ones. He likes the movie and playlist ones.
Yeah,
the most.
so he likes. Okay, so the album reviews could go. The playlist choices could stay.
Yeah. I think the playlist ones are because you can get a pleasant surprise of like, oh, I like that type of music.
Yeah, and hear a lot, and it's a lot easier for us to like throw in songs, and at least for me personally, to like throw in songs in the edit, and like whereas like if I were to have to download and add all like clips from that new Vampire Weekend album, like where do you even splice that song? Like, nobody even knows that song.
I did also get a text from George, who's been I can name him because he's been on the podcast. But I think he probably sent you guys the same text because it's only about Kevin.
Nope, because I only got one about you.
I
So
didn't
I'm guessing
get it.
Kevin has one only about
Oh
me.
wait, maybe I did get it.
Oh, okay. So maybe this should be anonymous. I forget if we'll figure that out. Dislikes Kevin singing. Kevin, do you sing a lot?
I sing so much, but it's not even like a force. It's just I realize that's just part of my personality.
Well, stop it.
Okay.
All right,
He's living in the same city as you now, so
I agree with the second point he has, talking about his marathon.
Yeah,
That was
that's
getting a
annoying.
little fast.
Agreed.
I don't notice that.
And then use of PowerPoints.
No. He needs to use them more?
No, he doesn't like when Kevin
just
uses
very-
PowerPoints.
Well, not me. I never used a PowerPoint.
Yeah, you
Oh
did.
yeah, I guess it's not
On the
Kevin, say
podcast he was
Kevin.
on.
Use of PowerPoints for us.
Yeah,
I guess that makes sense because no one
yeah,
can see
that
those.
doesn't translate.
Well, when we put it on the YouTube, we should cut those ones, put those full sections on YouTube.
All right, let me rifle
That's
through
all.
my
Wait,
feedback.
I got
from
the
George.
likes from this guy,
Oh, okay.
Kevin. Okay, he likes when Kevin speaks on controversial topics like he's a subject matter expert.
That sounds a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know if
Backhanded.
that's funny.
Backhanded.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
gonna take it as a compliment.
I guess you're good at that. I do, and my only
Kevin
feedback
has
too.
increased his drinking heavily since he started hearing this guy. All of this negative shit. I can't
Pulling out the
think of the
Drano.
word.
Jungle, dude. How funny would it be in college if you emptied that, cleaned it, and
And,
filled
like-
it up with like jungle juice?
Like, so
Right.
just for the podcast listeners, if you like fake poured a thing of Drano into the jungle juice, yeah.
Oh, that would be
Yeah.
funny. If people thought you fucking ruined it, that would be hilarious.
And
No,
then
I'm
bunch
saying
of-
you drink out of it. Like
No,
jungle
that's
juice.
been done. That's been
That's
done.
been
No
done.
one's
I've
ever
done that.
taken Drano and pretended to ruin the whole punch. That would be fucking funny.
and just
Yeah.
see which fucking jock will step up to the plate.
Yeah, who wants to beat the shit out of Kevin?
No. I'm just like, which guy's like, fuck it. I'm gonna die tonight.
Oh, that
Drinks the
too.
Drano
Yeah,
juice.
it could go different
in-
ways.
I have a question though. In college, would you try a sip?
Fuck
yeah,
no.
I would try it.
No.
I think I would too. I would try it.
If,
A little
like,
baby sip.
If I could like, yeah, or like do like a little like bite or like a little
Yeah.
finger
Well-
prick to the tongue.
No.
All right, we really have to keep moving, guys.
Okay. Wait, I was gonna give my quick feedback of everything. Okay,
go.
never mind.
Hurry up.
Go ahead. All I was gonna say is, Kevin, you do a good job hosting,
Aw.
and I when I show up, I really don't have to think about anything. I know you're gonna like handle it all.
Makes it easy.
Yes.
I do take pride in thinking ahead of time what's going to get you guys excited to talk. And I do actively think about that stuff. So thank
I
you for
give-
noticing.
Can I give a
Negative?
negative feedback that ties to that?
Let me get my Drano.
This listener enjoys organic conversations that get to keep going rather than getting cut off to go on to a next topic, because it could be very entertaining and could be really good and flow well.
I agree. It is tough to like. I have in my mind. I always try to keep a balance of like, all right, like we have to at least have some theme, but like, where do you end it? Like, could we just keep rifling up? Could we do another 35 minutes on Drano Jungle Juice, or should we get back to our business strategy?
I agree. It's a tough balance, but sometimes if we're like, "Aw, I wanted to keep going,"
Don't
that
harsh
hurts.
my mellow right now. We're kind of rolling. I get
Who
that.
is this listener?
That was
Did you
Owen.
hit?
No, it's not me.
Oh, it was?
It's anonymous. No, it wasn't me.
Oh, shit. Okay, I thought that was Owen. All right. And then this dislikes were Owen always mentioning how cool the Pacific Northwest is and is not in on Sydney Sweeney.
He dislikes that about me.
No, just about everybody. That I'm personally in on Sydney Sweeney. I believe Dennis is on record as in on Sydney Sweeney, and Owen is out. Which is funny because Owen loves the Pacific Northwest, but he hates its finest product.
She's from Spokane. She's not Pacific Northwest.
Yeah,
Pretty damn close.
No, it's 5 hours away from it. Pacific Northwest is like all of, you go up into Canada, Alaska, down to Oregon, Northern California.
What do you call her part of the country then? Let's hear it. Let me know. Well, let's hear it.
There's a desert there's mountains, desert, and then you get to Spokane.
I've driven there, but it's like
you haven't driven to Spokane.
Yes,
it's like another
Seattle.
Yeah,
I drove stayed in Spokane for a night. It is like a desert in between.
Yeah, it's different.
But what do you call that part of the country then?
The North.
I would say
to the north.
I would say it's pretty damn northwest when you consider America.
I do agree.
Let me try to
coastal.
compare this to what you guys have in Ohio.
I do agree.
I'll get a good one for Ohio.
It's more like Montana than Seattle or like Utah.
So it's different culture.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It is more like Montana. Like it's the biggest town in near those areas, I guess. Like Montana and Coeur d'Alene.
And here, let me put it this way. It would be like saying like, oh, like you went to this can be so niche, but like, oh, you went to Rocky River? You must have been pretty damn close to Cedar Point, but it's not that close.
That is a great thing. It's like, no, I'm not that. Like,
it's
that's
like,
so stupid.
I see. Like the people that grew up in Sandusky, Ohio are a lot different than the people that grew up in like Cleveland suburbs of Ohio.
Good comparison, Kevin.
And the likes by this person, they like Owen hating everything, and they like Owen's technical difficulties. So Owen, keep regressing. Just don't use your mind at all. Just keep struggling, okay?
You guys wouldn't imagine. I almost had a meltdown today. I was trying to log onto the computer, and my password, there was one button that was just stuck, and it kept going, but I couldn't tell what button it or what letter it was because it's all blocked out because you can't see. So I couldn't figure out, and none of the keys were stuck. So I was like,
fix it.
I turned it off and turned it back on, and somehow it worked.
So do you guys have any more listener feedback? Because I'm going to rifle through a bunch. Start with yours, Owen. Just rifle through it and let's see if anything.
So dislikes from this anonymous person when Dennis gets too high and gets paranoid about it.
I think I know this person.
Not telling the audience what we're watching in advance.
Okay.
Likes
because sometimes we don't know.
Yeah, I know. We literally sometimes don't know until the day of.
Yeah.
Likes is Dennis talking about his family. And likes Dennis singing.
Oh, maybe Dennis and I just have to get in harmony more.
Yeah.
The other feedback about positive things is podcasts where there's built podcasts such as Playlist, Sports, or Build Your Own.
I love the choose your own
really
adventure,
enjoys that.
build
The
your
quizzes.
Own, yeah. We haven't done a quiz in a while, like a good one.
Those types of things that are a little more involved.
Is this from the same person?
And interactive.
It's multiple people. I thought you guys.
Very curious who these people are. Because I only know two listeners in my head. So
Dennis's posts. Really liked Dennis's posts.
Just like
What
the
post?
post with Dennis.
Instagram. Sarah likes your post. She said, I really like Dennis's post.
Dennis,
What
we always get
post?
funny
Anonymous.
ones for you. Just
On
like when
Instagram, your videos
Oh.
that you make. The wacky
okay.
ones.
Oh, thank you.
Mr. Wacky.
Tim Heidecker over here.
Instead of
That's all
Mr.
I got.
Anderson, you're Mr. Wacky. All right, I got it. Dennis, do you have any more?
No.
What was
I've
all
got
yours, Kevin?
All right, I'm going to rifle through these slowly, so please feel free to interject. This first one came from our lone Instagram. I asked on Instagram if anybody had any feedback for the pod, and they said, how is this anonymous if you can see who it is from? I don't think they understood that we were going to read it anonymous.
I tried to explain this to this person,
Sounds like you know this person,
and she
Dennis.
just didn't give a fuck either way.
That sounds accurate.
Okay, all right, next piece of feedback. You say more bad things about me than good things. This is from somebody really close to me.
I was going to say Drew for a second, but
There's somebody I bring up on this pod a lot more than that. Sometimes they use their name. Sometimes they use a more, I like a pronoun for their relationship to me. This next piece of feedback, you need more Mr. Stu. I think we can all agree on that. We just need him to get another game show first.
yeah.
He can't. He's going to have to pay us to get
This one is very specific to a member of our group. You cut off poor Owen and are quick to correct him. I think I would admit that. Yeah, we could probably do a better job of.
Who said that?
Who said poor Owen? That makes it sound like he's mentally handicapped or something.
Oh, you texted our significant others, didn't you?
No, this is other people.
You think Sarah's standing up for you? Like,
I don't think she would call him poor Owen.
I don't think she'd call me poor Owen. I was giving her
Okay.
too much credit there. She'd be like, she'd be mean about it, which I like.
Off my husband, you fucking piece of shit.
No, she'd
All
be
right.
mean about me.
Oh, okay.
She'd
All
give
right.
you a dislike, maybe.
Next one. What's the guy's name that picked the awful song list? And I couldn't figure out in my mind which one it was.
Song list.
What awful song list?
I'm assuming like one of our playlists. I think the Christmas playlist or the wedding playlist.
Well, what did they have to say about that awful?
You know what? They didn't even have the fucking time to follow up. That's all they said.
Wait, who is this person?
All right, next one.
Oh,
shit. I need to know too. I like that it's anonymous though.
I personally love YouTube. All my favorite pods are on YouTube, and we can't let Dennis's ring light go to waste.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
my neighbor works for YouTube, and he's like, "Why don't you guys have a YouTube?"
It's definitely the biggest platform. It'll come up in our growth conversation shortly. Okay, here's a fun one. I strongly associate the sounds of Kevin drinking soda and eating popcorn with the podcast. That one hurt a lot for me.
I don't get that though. You never eating popcorn here.
I know, but I think this person has lived with me in the past, and they just know that I'm a loud, obnoxious eater, chewer. Pretty much everything I do is pretty much ape-like. And this person also asked if there's anything we could do to make the audience a part of the conversation. Well, hey, here you fucking go, my friend.
here's the microphone.
You got your 15 minutes.
Enjoy.
Oh, you're
15
quiet.
seconds. We tried calling you and you didn't pick up.
Yeah. Anything you can do to this is a different person. Anything you can do to make your audience a part of the conversation. Oh, I said that already. Jesus. Another person said, I do think I would enjoy you guys doing mini recaps following the episodes or takes. So basically, if we talk extensively about something, they would like to hear how we feel about it later once the season goes on, or like.
Okay. If we continued watching, like True Detective, like how we did.
Or if we did like a mini recap, yeah.
That's fine. I kind of like that.
I agree with that.
Yeah, because if you think about True Detective, we all fucking liked the first episode,
and then we hated it by the end, or like I love the Kanye album now, or like stuff like that. Here's another one. This I would wonder if you can guess who this is from. I like that you guys don't shy away from non-PC takes.
Mr.
and-
B, welcome back.
Oh, you must have read the next piece of feedback, which was love Mr. B and Mr. Stew.
Get the misters on. Bring them
it-
together.
Yeah. Oh, a Mr. B and Mr. Stew pod would be very
That's like a
interesting.
clash of worlds.
It would be
5 people.
It would be really hard for me.
Mr. B, Mr. B in real life, he's dropping truth bombs like you wouldn't believe. But
Honestly,
on the podcast, he's scared the government's going to get him.
I think the better solution would be to get Mr. B on Squid Game the challenge. Now that would be an interesting one.
incredible. Your dad and him, Mr. B, need to link up. And your dad needs to give the secrets of how to get onto game shows.
I would love watching Mr. B on
That would be
Squid Game.
the best person on a game show ever.
You'd be so funny.
I always think about Mr. B on Survivor, and it would be the most entertaining thing
Dude,
I've ever watched in my entire life.
All of the networks are dumb because they didn't get him yet.
I know. I think the problem, though, he'd be voted out like instantly. So they're like, this is
Who gives a shit, though? That'd be fun.
All right, I have three more. And I think this next
How
one
many
is,
people listen to this podcast? I'm surprised
these
I
are
have this much
multiple
feedback.
takes from multiple people.
22,000 downloads.
This one I think is like completely misguided and maybe a little bit ignorant, but it says, avoid calling women whales.
What? No, you're fucking joking, right?
It said that. It said, avoid calling women whales.
Are we constantly doing that?
Apparently we've done it once or twice, and it rubbed some whale the wrong way.
Wait, who wrote this? Do you know who wrote it?
Hey, of course I texted these people.
And you just called this person a whale right now, though.
I know, but they're not. That's why I felt comfortable calling them that.
Maybe they're confused when we watch The Whale.
All right, here's the next one.
It was definitely the whale episode because we really
said
let
whale.
we really let the fat people have it.
All right,
Or maybe the deepest
a few
breath.
more.
That clashes. Hold up. That clashes with our other.
I know it's very
listeners'
controversial.
advice.
Some people want us to be PC, but
Gets people talking though. So
Yeah.
I
No.
feel like we need to keep it in.
honestly, I think the feedback is more like there's way more interesting ways to call women fat than calling them whales. Like,
Ooh.
use a different
It's
adjective.
just so
or-
it's too
Okay.
specific. Like
Yeah.
I just immediately dismiss it. It's
Yeah.
too specific in advice.
exactly. Yeah, it's
I
some-
had the rice bowl and I hated it. Never coming back.
that
Good.
was
We don't
was
need you.
really funny.
Owen must read a lot of Yelp reviews.
He worked at Yelp.
Oh yeah.
All right, this one says, retract your comment about me loving pedal bars. Huh.
All right, sorry, Sam.
All right, this next one. This is actually really helpful.
He just fucking got that. I'm like, what is a pedal bar? And then I was thinking about it, I'm like, he does seem like a guy that would like pedal bars. I don't remember ever saying that, but
This one says, plug the Instagram more. The video segments help.
Yes.
And then the same person said, just keep going. You all are fun. So,
Yes, Queen.
yes, queen. Yes, queen. All right. So there's some feedback for us. Now that we've heard it, we have, I would say, let's spend another good 10 to 15 minutes just figuring out how we're going to grow this bitch.
does someone want to write this stuff down? That's not me. Okay.
Owen's got a sheet of paper.
All
He's
right,
our
Owen's
prime
got
candidate.
UConn versus
I'm out of
Stetson in
room
the
though.
bracket.
I'm running out of room quick, so keep it tight.
I can start because I think Dennis had great feedback. I think it's a big part of it is when we pick the content that we're going to talk about, we need to find a healthy balance between popularity and relevancy. So we can't just pick the hottest topic because we're never going to be the first to get the hottest topic out. But
Yeah.
we can be the most interesting person to talk about something like March Madness or college football or
Sure.
Yeah.
I
you
get
know.
that where you're saying like if it's something we haven't watched yet, we don't know how the movie is going to be because we don't have any prior knowledge to speak of. We can hold off until that hits the masses and everyone's watching it. And we're
It's
like,
more
oh
like
shit,
this,
this is
or-
good. We should do it. But if it's something that we have some knowledge on or can make it fun and don't have to speak directly about games or the things going on.
Yeah, or like
that'll-
here's my best example. Like if Beyonce were to come out with a 10-minute music video tomorrow that the whole world is talking about for the next 2 days, we don't need to be the people that do a podcast about it.
No,
Like
skip.
figure out something that's a little bit more relevant for the next 3 months
Yeah.
and talk about that. Like, we don't need to be the hottest or the earliest take or the hottest take. We just need to be the most interesting and funny take
Because
on
that's
something.
like a flash in the pan. And
Okay.
I was thinking of Taylor Swift too, and I'm like, should we do the new album? And I feel like there's just going to be so much noise around it. We're just going to
Exactly.
fucking, no one's going to care about what we say. So it has to be.
Yeah.
I almost feel like a month from now is when we do Dune 2, when it's like kind of settled
when
down.
Everyone's
seen it, and it's like, okay, here's some takes about it that aren't the same shit I've heard. Something a little different.
I think we're gonna give some. I have lots of interesting takes on Dune 2. I'm ready.
I
to
really
talk about it.
I like this thing. I like this that we're gonna wait until everyone's seen it.
Yes,
It gives enough time.
That's basically what you've seen it. It's the hype around, like the initial hype around it is like a little bit lower.
Still up there, but catch the people
relevant.
on the
always relevant. But catch them when they're sick of hearing the other takes. Let's get them in there with our takes on Taylor Swift's weird elbows or whatever. Like,
we don't want to catch them when they're sick of other takes, though, right? They're not gonna catch. We're not gonna gather. I think additional people.
I think we're on the same page, though. I think I just did a bad job of explaining it. Like,
and I agree with it. Like, if Beyonce did a 10-minute video, it's like no cheap thrills. Like some of the people are like, oh, this is big, and then it's no one gives a fuck. Something else happened, and they moved on.
Yeah,
stuff that's going to have lasting. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a good. Or like if I think another good example, like a show that had a first season that's coming back, that people like True Detective situation.
Perfect. Okay.
Like that sort of. We can watch the first episode of that because there's a fan base there. Like the show, The Boys. I don't know if you guys ever watched that.
I have seen a lot of it.
That's a big show that's coming back. Or The Bear, or the new Game of Thrones.
Actually, Dennis, I have a good point. So think about like Shogun. I still call it that now. I'm fucking annoying. Shogun versus True Detective. Like, one has no basis. Like, we were just reviewing the first episode of that, but like with True Detective, we were talking about the series as a whole. Like, you don't need to. Everybody's seen True Detective season 1. They're curious about what the new season is going to be like. Like, for us to be the first people to talk about Shogun, nobody needs to do that.
That's good.
Do you guys still watch Shogun?
So I'm putting no. I couldn't. It's too much reading.
No, it's like reading a fucking
too much
book.
reading. I can't. I have a headache. I want to look at my phone every once in a while.
It is.
I don't like not being able to take a break.
It is for nobody.
So basically, what we have.
I love that we're all on the same page about it.
Yeah. What we have here is being able. I put conclusive ideas, but that doesn't really make sense. What I'm
existing. Wait, how can we say?
Yeah, I feel like evergreen was just a good word, just like
I didn't
something
know what that meant, though.
I don't think we like that word, Kevin.
I just keep thinking of gum whenever you say that, like evergreen gum.
So we're like the
chewy.
There's
minty.
So many evergreens out here, and I have a customer that's named Evergreen, and it's just too much.
Something that's a customer, it's a tree.
Yeah. But the thing that I did hear. Like you said, if we did The Bear season 2, that one seems hard to do, though. Does that seem like that's too fresh, too new, too many takes are going to be taken on that one, though? Or do we not feel that way?
So
like True Detective made sense because that had like a cult-like following.
Here's what's interesting to me. If we so my first pitch on how to grow would just be get more guests. I think guests are one, they make our podcast more interesting. They open up our podcast to a whole nother network of people. And 3, if we not only talk about the bear returning, we also talk about cooking and being like a chef with an actual person who does that. I think that would be super interesting.
Yeah, and making like a challenge, something about it.
Yes, exactly. That would be so that would be multifaceted. We talk about content, you talk to an actual chef, and we're doing a thing. I mean, that's obviously a shit ton of work, but I think that's way more interesting than us just being like, I thought the music in the first 5 minutes was really captivating.
It was, though. No, I actually don't like the music on The Bear. It's too old dad rock.
I can't get into
REM
the show
and
myself.
bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh, The Bear second season's so good. Third season's coming out June.
Thanks, Dennis. I agree with the get more guests. Get more guests and be able to have them have. I like fun guests.
Yeah.
I
Your
think we
dad's
need
fun.
to also step out of our comfort zone and get a guest that doesn't know us.
Exactly. Like, yeah, you need a fish out of water.
Yeah.
I also like the idea of having the guests not have to give like a full take on all the background on it, but just on there
True.
to shoot the shit.
Yeah. Like, we don't
think
need
that's
them to
fun.
come in there and talk about the content we absorbed. Let's just get them on there to answer some questions like related to the content or just catch up. Like, hey, like, you're a chef. Like, what's it like being a chef? I think that's interesting.
Okay, so how can we got to figure out a schedule for this? Like, should we have a guest?
I don't think we should go 3 episodes without a guest, is my opinion.
Okay. I like that. Let's set a hard number of like, we need a guest every 3 episodes, something
Agreed.
like that. We need a challenge every 2 episodes, or like either a trivia game or like a game or a challenge, I think is
I like that too, yeah.
What we should be doing each episode.
Yeah, there always has to be some kind of hook. We either have to have something really interesting to challenge us, we have to have an interesting guest, or we have to have some like really interesting content to talk about. We should never let go one of those.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, so one of those 3, I guess, would be
like you don't need to
best.
have a trivia game and a guest on the same episode.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like the first doesn't need to be in this
30,
order, but like the first one,
60,
yeah.
Okay.
A trivia or like a build your own, or is that would you say separate?
I love there's trivia we do the choose your own adventure, I call it, or like a pick your playlist. Those are all like great, interesting things in my opinion.
Yeah.
Would you say a choose your own and a trivia are the same, or those are different things?
No, because I think a choose your own always goes hand in hand, where it's like, hey, like everybody go watch a movie about sharks, and I want to hear like what you did. Whereas like a pick your own or like a pick a playlist is like us all kind of like just getting together and drafting something.
Okay. How often should we do a choose your own, you think?
I would say there should always just like, if there's 4 weeks in a month, we should never do the same thing
Every
twice a month.
Following week. Okay.
Yeah. What were your guys' thoughts on growth? So we've talked about guests, content. What about just in terms of marketing?
Plugging.
Plugging is hard. And I have
we just need to record a shitty we just do a shitty commercial, all 3 of us.
Yes.
Where we're just bullshitting about it. It could even be this one right now. And you just clip it, throw it in randomly, like, hey, we're taking a break to plug our thing. Like, make sure that you're following us at Pick Freaks. If you like the show, please roast us or leave a nice comment below.
Yeah.
5 stars only.
That's
something like that.
Let's get one of these recorded by the end of the month. Even if I just use this, we need to have that playing 2 times per episode.
Because
it's annoying,
and we could say something like there's exclusive video, obviously video content on there, but there's a lot of things that people like, oh, I wish I saw what that was. We could fucking throw a clip.
We should always be plugging the Instagram, the ratings, Twitter. The we don't really do anything on the fake Dennis, for the record, was convinced we had a Pick Freaks Twitter.
It's getting a lot of likes too.
We do not.
It's gone great.
Those did though. When I posted the one, it fucking got retweets and likes, so it got a lot more eyeballs. So we should
Vampire Weekend one on Twitter.
We should also just do it on our own personal ones. Like if one person wants to just throw it up on there, and
no, I think. I do think we need to add a Twitter. We need to let's upload our full podcast. This is gonna be a lot harder work for you, Kevin. Maybe we just upload the full podcast to YouTube and no editing.
I was going to talk about that next. Like, I think we'll always put at least an edited audio podcast on Apple, but I think just put the full raw uncut on YouTube because
dude, you got to cut a lot of things. That's the worst. You got our faces and ourselves on there.
I'm talking about cutting the A's or the ums and the likes, but we can. I don't want to like make it a narrative thing because it's just to have your face blend is a lot harder than have audio blend.
I agree, but Kevin, don't miss any crucial cuts.
Oh, then start taking
Okay.
some notes on that piece of paper on what minute you need gone.
Okay. Well,
We need a word that
we need to
Riverside
like everyone like waves or something.
Honestly,
Oh, can you say a word that after that?
in Riverside.
Yeah, you
It's
can do
call
like
it
a,
text
it's
is
fucking
like,
cut that. We've been saying it.
yeah.
Cut that.
It's
Oh,
nice when you
really?
edit because whenever you send your notes, I just type it into Riverside
that is
and
nice.
it goes right to that section because it like writes all whatever we say, transcribes.
Okay, so when we need something cut, we should all say cut that, like all of us, so that way it
But
definitely
we say cut
doesn't.
so much. We got to say something different, like
Oh yeah, let's come up with a fun code word.
But then we're gonna say
fuck fart or something.
No. How about
Damn it.
Waxahachie?
no.
I like Waxahachie.
But
That's
how's
so
it
hard.
might spell
That's-
that differently every time. That's a
Yes,
Okay,
that's what I'm saying. Cut that. We don't say that, but the reason we say that is because there's potential things
Okay,
to be
I-
cut.
like-
Otherwise, we're gonna use the
I just saw my
keyword
tattoo.
too.
I just saw my new tattoo. Can we just say domino every time we want to cut something?
Okay.
We're definitely gonna remember.
Or I was
that.
gonna say evergreen.
Oh, evergreen. Evergreen or domino? Evergreen. Domino. Okay.
All right.
All right. So just to recap really quick.
And cut that.
Domino.
Keep the content different, vary it with more guests, more segments, more, I don't know what you call it, but more like choose your own adventure, plot based episodes. Make sure we get all the content on YouTube. I will try doing it as a video. I don't know if that'll work, but at the bare minimum, I now have it being audio going to YouTube. So I think that's a step in the right direction. And then the shameless plugging, Dennis, I think that's something we can both do on Reddit for sure. Like,
Yeah.
if we have some relevant content, find a subreddit, at least give it a shot on there somewhere.
Yeah. I do think also posting all our clips on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter, which might be a lot of work. That's why I was looking at that application. You guys made fun of me for it. But
That's more money.
Yes, it costs money.
Yeah, like $150 a month.
Oh, that's nothing.
No.
Is that
TikTok
what-
and
Is that our numbers or?
I don't
Is
know
that-
how to post to YouTube. How do you post to YouTube? Isn't that like go to your do you have to
It's
create a new one?
honestly like a little bit of a pain.
Right.
but
That's the
I-
only one that it's a little
But
Yeah.
through the podcast editing software, the hosting service, it automatically uploads that audio with like our picture of our podcast, and so it was super simple, and I think that's a step in the right direction.
Kids don't love TikTok. They like YouTube shorts.
No, they love. We need to get these shorts on.
YouTube shorts are where it's
Yeah.
at. That's all.
We should
kids,
maybe-
kids don't give a shit about TikTok. There's more millennials on TikTok than there are Gen Z and younger.
Or
No,
Gen,
kids
isn't that crazy?
love YouTube. 10% of streaming, which doesn't sound like a ton, but it's
I thought you were
by
saying
far.
straight man. 10%
Honestly-
is straight man.
Honestly, we should probably take all of our clips and just put them on YouTube Shorts and see if any of them hit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we should.
How
Just
do we
take
do?
it.
I
Just
have
take-
a bunch on my computer.
Yeah, I have a bunch on my phone. I think that's a big, easy step.
No, how do you create?
I have
is
the
it
YouTube account. Like, I had to create one, so I can send you guys a link.
for the Pick Freaks one?
Yeah.
Sweet.
All right, we're getting a little in the weeds here, but I still think this is interesting. Any other big ideas from you guys based on
I
feedback
do
and
think-
numbers?
To make the show best quality, we each need to. This is going to put a lot of work on myself, which I'm going to regret later. But we each should take a week and either you have to figure out a guest to bring on, or
Yes.
the choose your own adventure, or the trivia, or whatever. Like that's how we kind of started it. And we're like, this is
And
your week.
there was a little bit more accountability on the person
Yeah.
who picked something to make it interesting. And we do have to get that level of accountability back. Like, hey, I want to watch this. And here's why, because I have this great challenge with it, or I have this great guest.
Yes.
I think we just have to have a little bit more accountability on each person. And it doesn't have to be that much work. Like, find somebody who you just want to talk to that will be willing to come on the pod, figure out what content we can talk about related to them, you know?
We need to put or need to have something that has like a like just a quick shot or like a pie chart or something to say like, does it fit all of our like needs for an actual thing?
Or how about we put a call to action out here right now? If you are a listener to this pod, one of our 4,700 weekly listeners, and you
So
want to
many.
come on the pod,
470.
and you're willing to come on the pod to talk about something respective that you are interested in or are a subject matter expert on, message us at Pick Freaks on Instagram and let us know, because we would be more than willing to have you on. Pitch us on something. Or don't, that sounds like too much work. Just say, hey, we're willing to come on. I'll do the work to figure out
We'll
what
figure
we can
out
talk about.
the
Yeah.
piece of media that relates to you.
All you have to do is just send us a picture of your feet, and it'll catch our attention.
That's all we need, and we won't ever talk to you again, okay?
Yeah. In summary, everybody listening, send us a picture of your feet.
Oh God, it's gonna be so many feet.
470,000.
No, it'll be 2 feet from one person.
Yeah, one photo of 2 feet.
Exactly. That's double the amount of feet I expected. All right. Anything else pressing? I think we have a good plan for growth in the next, however long this pod lasts before Dennis burns out.
I'm good. It's the Sunday nights. I can't do Sunday
The
nights.
Sunday nights were a bad
Sunday
stretch.
nights are terrible.
I'm
not
good.
good.
I'm
not
good on Thursdays.
And
Thursdays are good
when we
at
miss
Thursdays and Fridays.
when we miss a Thursday and we have to
It
go
fucks
in the
everything
weekend,
up.
it's
It's
like it's
everything.
too hard to get back onto something the next Thursday. It's a lot.
Wednesdays and Thursdays. Thursdays
Shoot
predominantly.
for those, and then if we
Yeah.
can't, we gotta be okay with one of us sometimes not making it, and we have to pull an
Yeah,
audible.
we can always find
Get a
somebody.
guest, get George on, get someone on. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter who it is.
Who's
We
other
could
than
have
George?
anyone
Who's
fill.
number 5 on the roster?
I think
I don't
Mr.
know.
Mr. Stu.
Yeah,
Mr. B.
Stu. It's good. Yeah, what are those?
Mr. B
two?
was never a full episode, though.
All right. Well, yeah, we can always dig into what the people who have came on before. I would love to have Mr. B on again.
Yeah.
I would too.
I want to record Mr. B without him knowing to get his real thoughts on things. Just play it and make him answer to it.
Yeah.
Well,
No,
maybe
it's
now
gonna
that
be
he
tough
has-
for me to get guests. I've asked people. No one seems.
You got to get out of your comfort zone, man.
Yeah, you
What
got
are
to
you
get
doing
out.
with this real estate? Well, let's get a real estate person
Dennis
on.
got his fucking brother on. Can you imagine how awkward that was for him?
I tried getting my brother on. He said no. So
yeah.
I don't know what to tell
Forgot
you.
about that. Hey,
It's hard to get people that actually want to do it.
There's a great fucking quote out there. It says, "There is no try. There is do."